part of you that is aware that you are ready for more. And there is a part of you that won't rest. There is a part of you that is curious about your fullest expression, of your expansion, of who you might be beyond what you have already experienced. And because of that, because you are here connected with me in this conversation, in this moment, I welcome you to just release your jaw, drop your shoulders, roll your neck, take a breath, and prepare to just let your body feel into this conversation right now. As I say that, I start laughing because I know the logical part of your brain, your mind says, fuck, what's she talking about? What's she on about? Already this is too much. But there is the part of you that knows and feels into this way of being, into this conversation. As women, we crave this kind of conversation. We crave this connection with one another where we drop our guards, we take the masks off, we stop pretending, and we speak heart to heart, woman to woman, spirit to spirit. So I invite you to be here now, to feel into this conversation and to just see what arises within you as I share what I have prepared for you today. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. What I have prepared for you today is a conversation that I hope will evoke new thought forms and then new sensations and feelings within you that may inspire action in a new way. I've called this today, Turn the Page, Write Your Chapter. As women, I believe we are positioned in this life, on this timeline, here and now, to be handed the pen to write the next chapter within our own lives and within the line of our family. All of us, at some point in our lives, are handed the pen, are given the responsibility of dictating, deciding, declaring what comes next. And the trouble that we have is that there is no defining moment where we are actually handed the responsibility of paving the path for all that will follow us, all the sons and daughters of our lineage that have not yet even been conceived, but will follow and will be impacted by the choices that you make for yourself in this life today. So this is a conversation to wake you up, to remind you that it is very likely your time is now. Your time is now, and we don't know how much time we ever have to write our own unique, necessary chapter. A prompt that I wanted to share with you to begin this conversation was to ask you to contemplate this very question. In your being, in your existence, in the way that you show up in the world as yourself, where are you falling into line? And where are you being called to stand out? This conversation today is going to be asking you in many different ways. Are you repeating history, or are you here to create and cause a new way forward? And when I say that, I'm not asking you to make any of your lived experience or the lived experience of your ancestors wrong. We're not here for judgment. We're not here for criticism. What we are here to do is highlight and amplify the power that you have in your being, in your life, to dictate and decide what comes next. Your life can bring an end to things, and your life can create and cause things that you haven't even given yourself the permission, the grace to think of yet. It's exciting. You are still in the process of living. There is still time to use, and the pen is in your hand, and you get to create and cause opportunity, possibility, abundance, availability in ways that have never been experienced in your family line before, simply by choosing to be more of who you are and then all of who you are. When I ask myself the question, am I repeating history, or am I a woman committed and devoted to understanding the process of creation moving forward, what I first do is think of the family that has gone before me. And I think of the recurring patterns or habits or stories that come forward when I think about what my family has shown me is possible. And it might not just be like what you have physically seen, but what has been said, what the undertones, what the flavor, what the general consensus of life is based on the family that has gone before you. For me, the repeating history would be, if I was to repeat history, it would mean burnout and resentment, perfectionism and people pleasing, being committed to being right, and playing small and swallowing dreams. When I think of family that has come before me, specifically the women that have come before me, these have been the repeated patterns. This has been what has been observed, shared, transmuted, made available. Patterns that repeat in this way, that bring forward this experience. What's important for us to realize when we think about the habits, the patterns, the repeated history in our own lineage is to realize that that is actually part of our potential. When we think and relate to the word potential, it's easy for us to think, oh, my potential is this like wonderful, flawless way of being, right? But our potential also includes the potential within us to repeat what has been a sticking point within our history. Maybe it's the potential to sabotage, to be argumentative, to play small, to be judgmental, to be fearful, right? The potential to repeat history is there. So is the potential to create something new. Choice is the incredible power we have as humans in this life. Potential is nothing without choice. But we can't make choices for ourselves if we don't know what our options are. And there are actually infinite choices that have many different experiences that go along with them that we could make in this life. And yes, it is our responsibility to bring consciousness, to bring awareness, to bring clarity to the choices that we are making and the outcomes that we are experiencing and the history that we are making of ourselves, for ourselves, as ourselves. So today, I invite you to be prompted to turn inward. And I'm going to lead you through an exercise you could either just feel into and think about, or you might like to put pen to paper. Think about an area of your life that you are focused on in some way, something that you want to change or amplify, maybe improve. It could be relationships, could be finances, it could be your career, your ability to contribute to community, relationships and family, right? Think of the line of success within that. What is it that you want made available? What do you want to experience? What do you believe is coming for you in this area that requires expansion, new ways of being? Think of how that line of success exists in the world. There is evidence of what you desire existing for others already, isn't there? There is. And when you close your eyes and you think of that line of success in the world, you see so many ways that experiencing that very thing that you want to experience is already being experienced by others, those that have gone first, those that are leading the way, those that have shown us what is possible. And then think of how that line of success exists within your own family. Is there contrast there? When it comes to success in this area, what are some of the historic patterns of potential, the habits, the stories that have been passed down that people in your family have lived through, moved through, been influenced and impacted by? Let's start with the shadow. Something that you know that you don't want to repeat in this area of your life. And you've seen it happen many times, or you've heard about it, and you just don't want to repeat that. You feel yourself declaring, saying, I don't want that for my life. When I sat and I thought about the repeated patterns and the stories and the things that I had witnessed or heard about, so much came forward. So much came forward. Addictions, codependency, making money but never having any money, love only being given through proof of achievement. So many ways of being that I did not want to accept for myself, and I didn't want to perpetuate, and I didn't want to make available for my son and his children and his children's children. But here's the thing, the awareness of that, the awareness of all that has come before us allows us to have grace and empathy for the very fact that these are all parts of our patterning on a cellular level. For some of us, we have not consciously chosen to repeat this for ourselves. It just occurs because it is a vibration through us. It is us, as us on a cellular level. And it could very well be the story that you would continue to write if not for your ability to choose something different for yourself as yourself. So what we are being asked to do is look at the repeated patterns, look at what has occurred and stand with them, claim them, own them, and then take responsibility to close the book on them. Okay? And I said, start with the shadow. There may be things in your family that are so wonderful, so empowering, so uplifting, and you want to really bring that forward in your life and honor that. And that's wonderful. And that can exist. And there can also be a shadow. And you can also be called forward in this life to close the book on the things that you deem not worthy for your existence or the existence of anybody that will come after you. You have that power. You are invited to step into that power in this life. You are handed the pen. What is it that you will write? What story will your life tell? What will you make available for the women, for the men that follow after you? Because of you, what will be available? Because of you, what will be made easier? Because of you, what will be assumed? The problem is when we go to write that new story, when we go to create, we realize that there is no reference point. And so we wobble. There is nothing in our history that shows us what comes next because creation is made in the moment that we are in. When you are going to take new action, create new thought forms, encourage new feelings to come forward, take new action, it is you that is creating in the moment that you are in. So when you look around and when you look at your family, you will see that they are looking at you and the choices that you are making with confusion, sometimes disapproval, sometimes frustration, a lot of questioning, because you have become unrelatable. You are not following in their footsteps. You are not moving to the same rhythm. You have started your own song. You are leading your own dance. And because of that, not only are you unrelatable to your family, you also have become unrelatable to yourself. You're evolving and expanding in a way that is unrecognizable even to you. And so if you feel nervous, if you feel wobbly, if you feel a sense of overwhelm, allow yourself to be with that, to sit with that, to be tender with that, but to remind yourself that this is how it feels when you stand on a new edge. This is how it feels when you stand up and you lead. This is how it feels when you decide and declare that you are going to use your life, your existence as the pivotal moment where things changed for you, for your family, and the family that will follow you. We take our growth, we take our expansion, we take our evidence, and we write a new story. You can write a new story. No matter what you have experienced, no matter what has occurred before you, no matter where you have been led, you get to decide where you go next, who you are, how you relate to yourself, and what it means to show up in the world, what you are a stand for, what you bring an end to, and more importantly, what you create. You are here listening to me because you have chosen the expanded version of yourself. As you turn the page on the way things have been and dare to start your next chapter? Can you hold yourself, resource yourself, support yourself, and allow full expansion to come through you, to you, as you in this life? You do not have to do this alone. That is why we search and seek for community. That is why we search and seek for mentors, guides, teachers, coaches. We read books, we download podcasts, we immerse ourselves in art and culture. We close our eyes and we meditate. We feel into the dimensions that can't be touched but can only be experienced within us. We open our eyes and we ask of ourselves to see things anew. And from that space, we create. From that place of bravery, we create, willing to be unrelatable, willing to be misunderstood, willing to go first, willing to find out what happens next. I hope today you have felt a part of you come alive, tingle maybe, with a remembering, a recognition of what also exists inside you. Beside the roles that you have already claimed and fallen into and taken on for yourself, what else could be asked of you in this body, in this life, in this time? How else could you rise up and make the most of this one beautiful opportunity you have in this life to make impact, to clear the path, to use your insight, your understanding, your perspective, to not only make sure that you live a life that feels meaningful and purposeful, but paves the way for those that will follow you to find their way, to fall into their own rhythm, to see the world through a renewed lens of potential that doesn't feel so dark and shadowy, of potential that is illuminated with abundance, with hope, with love, with joy, with the discipline of being a person that consciously chooses for themselves who they are to be and what they are to do in this life. Remember what it feels like to know that you are inspired, gifted, moved, open to transmute all that is coming to you, through you, as you, into the heart, into the soul, and then out into the world to serve. I thank you for your time, for your focus, for your energy. I thank you for your openness. And I thank you for sharing anything that has come through for you as a result of connecting here with me in this space today. I welcome you and I invite you to continue this conversation with me. You'll find me on Instagram at Lena, it's Lena_Moxon. And I cannot wait to continue to be in conversation with you around all the ways that we can maximize our ability to consciously choose to write a new chapter for ourselves. Okay, more soon. Love you.